I destroyed my best friend's life. I watched him lose his wife, his kids, his career, and his name. I had dozens of chances to speak up, to say this isn't who he is. But I stayed silent. I chose optics over truth, hashtags over humanity. My name is Maya, and 3 years ago, I helped create a workplace culture that accidentally turned justice into a weapon. Today, I want to tell you how I realized what I'd done, and how I'm living with the guilt of watching a good man disappear. This is my confession. This is the story of how I learned that sometimes, believing everyone means believing no one. I'm 26, work in marketing at a mid-sized tech firm. I was known as the woke one in meetings, not loud about it, but people knew. I always spoke up about office boundaries, safe environments, making space for voices that had been silenced too long. I watched tons of YouTube debates. Loved when some smug dude got wrecked by a sharp woman. Made me feel like we were finally pushing back against decades of silence. I subscribed to 3 channels that broke down male microaggressions in real time. I once said in a lunch chat, unlearning patriarchy is a full-time job. A coworker called me HR's favorite foot soldier. I laughed, but it was also kind of true. I believed in the cause. I believed we were finally making workplaces safe. Then there was Aaron. My best friend. We joined the company around the same year, just different departments. He was in dev, I was in marketing. We ate lunch together sometimes, talked about life, podcasts, dumb memes. He was one of the only guys I fully trusted. Aaron was 32, married, 2 little kids. The kind of guy everyone called harmless. Always offered to carry chairs at company events, opened doors, brought donuts. Quiet, never interrupted women when they talked. Called me champ when I vented about stuff. At the holiday party last year, he spent 20 minutes fixing the karaoke mic for people. His wife came later, hugged him like he was her safe zone. They looked like real love, like stable. I remember thinking, she's lucky. He joked, "No, I'm just lucky she still laughs at my jokes." Everyone liked them. Everyone. Then things started shifting. The company introduced new HR policies, diversity, equity, inclusion trainings every quarter. Anonymous complaints went straight to the internal team. The CEO did a town hall on power imbalances, called it a proactive culture reset. I nodded the whole time. Thought, finally, real change. The HR guy said, "We want this to be a place where nobody feels unsafe." People started whispering about walking on eggshells. Some guys said, "Now we can't even joke anymore." I rolled my eyes, thought, maybe that's the point. It finally felt like someone was making space for the rest of us. Used to think men ruled the room. Now they shrunk a bit. And honestly, that felt like justice. Then Talia joined. 27, sharp, sarcastic, slightly guarded. She came from a startup that didn't take women seriously. Followed all the right accounts, wore a still healing hoodie at her desk. We bonded a little at first. She said things like, "Men only respect fear or consequences." I laughed nervously. She once told me, "We're not here to be liked. We're here to be unignorable." Something about how she said it made me flinch, but I ignored the feeling. 3 weeks in, there was an after-work mixer. Crowded hallway. Aaron was guiding a group through, and he gently touched Talia's shoulder for like 1 second. Not even weird. I saw it, looked like he was trying not to bump into her. She froze. Looked stunned. Didn't say anything. Next morning, whispers started. Someone said, Talia looked upset. Another said, he shouldn't have touched her at all. An HR email went out, reminding us of the zero-tolerance policy for physical contact. I heard Talia talking to someone near the kitchen. She said, "You don't have to slap someone to make them feel cornered." I thought that was a bit much, but I said nothing. Days later, there was a group chat moment. Aaron made a joke about caffeine addiction. Said, "You ever drink so much coffee you black out at your desk and wake up a better person?" Someone laughed. Talia replied, I don't like being talked to like that. The group went quiet. Aaron sent a thumbs up emoji. A few days earlier, he'd helped adjust her office chair. Said, "You're back, we'll thank you later." She didn't reply. He thought she didn't hear him. Now I wondered if she'd been noting it down. He once sent her a podcast clip, they'd talked about it in the break room before. Nothing weird, just a debate about burnout. She left it on scene, later called it uninvited messaging during an HR review. I messaged him privately. Said, maybe give her space. He replied, I don't even know what I did. I left him on read. 1 week later, a company-wide email, a team member has been placed on leave pending review of internal concerns. It didn't say his name, but we all knew. HR claimed to have reviewed security footage. Said cameras cleared the hallway incident. Aaron later discovered that the hallway camera was broken. He brought it up during the HR review. They said the footage was inconclusive but claimed the overall behavior pattern was enough. His lawyers said fighting it would cost more than he had. So he gave up. HR still used the claim in their report. It made me think, did they rig the narrative before gathering facts? How many others got treated like evidence instead of people? Felt like the game was already decided. I'm all for holding men accountable, but I didn't think Aaron deserved this. Rumor was we'd been flagged in a regional DEI audit. Apparently, some lawsuit 2 years ago put our executives on edge. Someone higher up wanted a zero-tolerance showcase. Heard whispers that board pressure was building. One exec allegedly said, we need this cleaned up before the Q4 report. HR wasn't looking for justice. They were looking for optics. And Aaron was just easy to frame. Colleagues started texting me, they knew Aaron and I were tight, asked if I'd heard anything. I said, let's wait for the facts. But in my head, I already assumed he'd crossed a line. Then Talia posted on LinkedIn, it's terrifying to feel unsafe in your own workplace. She talked about subtle forms of disrespect, called them micro-boundary violations. Didn't name names. Her tone was careful, like she'd practiced being vague enough to avoid lawsuits. It felt designed to isolate him. Like she'd lit a match and watched the office burn. I ran into Talia near the vending machines one afternoon. She smiled and said, sometimes you have to take a few pawns off the board to win the game. Added, he'll land somewhere eventually. Her voice didn't sound cruel, just bored, like she was talking about printer ink. I asked, do you think he meant harm? She blinked. Said, intention doesn't matter. Results do. Later, she posted on LinkedIn, when someone makes a joke that makes your skin crawl, trust that feeling. Hashtag, not subtle. 300 likes in 3 hours. Coworkers started commenting hearts. Someone tagged our company. It spread fast. Our mutuals connected the dots. I went back to her post, read it twice. Started to feel itchy. None of what she said was technically false, but none of it really happened. Not like that. But I still reposted it. Said, we have to listen, even when it's uncomfortable. It reminded me of a time last year when some random girl posted about her old manager being creepy. The thread blew up. I didn't know the guy, but I replied, patterns always surface. Felt good, like I was part of something. But that guy messaged me, said, I've never even worked with her. I blocked him. Now I wonder, did anyone check? I never mentioned Aaron by name. Just wanted to be on the right side. 2 days later, Aaron called me. His voice sounded wrong. She tagged my wife's cousin in that post, he said. I haven't seen my kids since Tuesday. I asked what happened. He said she'd packed bags and left. Told him she didn't want their son hearing about it at school until this cleared up. He said, there's nothing to clear up. He sounded like he was shaking. I said, maybe just lay low for now. He hung up. He texted me later that night. Said, my son asked if I was in trouble. I told him no, but I think I lied. The next day, I saw I had a missed call from him. The voicemail just said, "Hey, just wanted to hear a kind voice." I never called back. I found his wife's Instagram one night. Her bio now said, "Single mama healing. No time for liars." A later story was a quote, "Gaslighters will act confused when confronted with truth." I couldn't tell if she believed him or needed not to. Either way, she was gone, and the world clapped. The investigation dragged for weeks. HR interviewed people. They asked weird questions. Have you ever seen Aaron make anyone uncomfortable? Someone said he stood too close during a screen share. He'd been helping a junior dev debug something. The girl never filed a complaint, but they wrote it down anyway. Called it an early sign of proximity discomfort. They stacked that onto everything else. Turned every kindness into evidence. Did he ever comment on how someone looked? People started remembering random moments. He once said I had cool earrings. He gave me a hug when my dog died. It built a pattern. They loved that word, pattern. I asked HR if there was a chance he'd be cleared. They looked at me like I'd just said a slur. The company let him go quietly. No official email, he just vanished from Slack. No formal firing announcement, no company-wide clarity. But somehow everyone knew. His calendar got wiped. Clients were redirected. His bio disappeared from the team page overnight. Coworkers told new hires, "Don't ask about Aaron." His silence became the story. And silence always sounds guilty. A junior coworker secretly wrote a letter defending Aaron. Said he was always respectful, safe, the only one who mentored without flirting. One guy from Dev whispered at lunch, "This is messed up." But when I asked if he'd say that to HR, he just shook his head. Said, "I've got a mortgage and twins." Even the nice ones chose silence. HR never read the letter aloud. It died in an inbox. Someone replaced his desk plant within 3 hours. His LinkedIn said, "Open to work." No one liked the post. I didn't message him. Didn't know what to say. Didn't want to risk it. Months before all this, Aaron had fixed my laptop at 9 p.m. I'd panicked over a client deadline. He stayed till midnight, bought me Uber Eats, and said, "Marketing deserves tech support." He didn't log those hours. Didn't ask for thanks. Just smiled and said, "Champ's got this." That same laptop now flashes error messages, and there's no one left to call. Sometimes I open old emails, see his name next to green check marks. He fixed things I didn't even know were broken. Automated half my reports. Helped me debug a client mess I forgot to thank him for. His initials are still on shared files, but HR scrubbed him from the organization chart. Even the shared doc with our old deck says owner, unknown now. Funny how quickly they erase you. Like safety means pretending you never existed. I heard through someone that he tried applying to 5 places. Got ghosted by all of them. Someone at another firm said, "We don't want any potential PR risk." His wife filed for separation. The kids now live 2 cities over. He pays child support. Lives in a studio near the freeway. I drive past it sometimes. Always think about texting. Never do. He tried to sue the company. Wrongful termination, reputational damage, defamation. His lawyer said they had a shot, but discovery took forever. The company flooded them with documents, buried them in jargon. Every HR note framed him like a time bomb. They even pulled Slack logs from 2018, twisted banter into red flags. Months dragged on. Legal fees stacked. His lawyer bailed. Said, "We're up against an institution protecting its image." The last hearing lasted 11 minutes. The judge said, "We're not here to litigate workplace culture." Case dismissed. He just sat outside the courthouse, watched people go in and out like none of it mattered. Lawyer bills started arriving. Savings evaporated within weeks. Credit card statements quadrupled. His son's school removed him from the pickup list, said only the custodial parent could authorize changes. He found out when he tried to surprise his son with lunch. They wouldn't let him in. Security guard apologized, said, "We're just following protocol." He sat in the parking lot for an hour. Called me. Said, "They treat me like I'm radioactive." My son was 4 pounds at birth. I used to feed him with a syringe. Now I'm a danger because I adjusted someone's chair. I didn't know what to say. He hung up quietly. Later he texted, "I don't think I exist anymore. Legally." A mutual friend had a wedding last month. Heard Aaron was discouraged from attending. The bride's sister follows Talia. Didn't want the heat. Invite revoked silently. A therapist he saw believed him, no toxic traits, just trauma. But refused to write a clearance letter. Liability risk. No one would vouch for him on record. 3 months later, he showed up at my door. Lost weight. Eyes looked wrong. Said, "I just needed to talk to someone who knew me before." We sat on my couch. He said, "I still don't understand what I did. If I made her uncomfortable, I'm sorry. But I didn't hurt her. I didn't even know I was a threat." His voice cracked. He didn't cry, just folded in on himself. He looked up once. Said, "You know what broke me?" I stayed quiet. He said, "It wasn't just her. It was realizing no one stood up. Not you. Not the guys I fixed code for. Not the manager I trained. Not even the janitor I gave rides home to." His voice shook. I kept thinking someone would say, "He's not like that." But I guess I was easy to replace. I tried to talk to Mel from design about it later. Asked, "Do you ever think maybe we go too far?" She looked at me like I'd kicked a puppy. Said, "Are you saying we should protect predators?" I shut up. Nodded. But inside, I was screaming. Aaron was the safest person I knew, and I'd helped burn him anyway. It's weird. I still believe women, but I also believe Aaron. Maybe that's the trap. Maybe we're not supposed to pick sides, but the system always makes you choose. Every time I hesitated, HR filled the silence with policy. Talia filled it with hashtags. I filled it with nothing. Just stood there, quiet, neutral, like that meant anything. Am I a bad feminist if I think this was wrong? Or just a bad friend? Is there even a difference anymore? I made him tea. Asked, "Have you tried therapy?" He nodded. Said, "I just want my kids to know I tried. They're going to grow up hearing what I did from other people. What do I tell them?" I had no answer. He thanked me for the tea. Left quietly. I scrolled LinkedIn later. Talia posted again, "He was never convicted, but that doesn't mean he was innocent." Comments said, "Survivors don't owe anyone silence." Someone replied, "We believe you." I kept scrolling. Didn't click like. I opened an old group chat. Saw a pinned message from Aaron, "Meeting room B is booked for Friday. Snacks are on me." Scrolled up. He used to send memes, playlists. Used to make our team feel fun. Now nobody mentions his name. One night, my mom called. Said, "Remember that boy you used to work with? The nice one." I paused. She said, "He was at the pharmacy. Looked so tired." Added, "I hope he has someone." I didn't reply. Wondered what I'd even say if he did call. "Hey, sorry I stayed silent while your life collapsed. Sorry I reposted the post that ruined you." Would he even answer if I reached out now? Do you ever lose someone so quietly that it feels like they're still around, but you're just not allowed to look at them? Like they became a ghost, but the haunting is your own guilt. And you can't block it, can't mute it. Just sit with it and hope it doesn't get louder. I found old recordings of myself I'd wanted to post on YouTube. I was thinking of opening a women-positive channel. I hear myself saying, "We don't talk enough about what women endure at work." Hear my voice, confident, proud, convicted. Hear silence on the other end. I realize that's how Aaron always sounded. But he never interrupted. I started writing a post. Sometimes we destroy good men without knowing it. Deleted it. Started again. My friend lost everything because of a rumor. I helped spread it. Deleted again. Tried once more. Believing women is important, but so is context. So is character. So is memory. So is what we lose when we act too fast. Got 3 lines in. Deleted again. Not because it's wrong, but because I know what comes next. Quote tweets. Screenshots. Mutuals calling me a traitor. I don't want to be next. So I stay quiet the way Aaron did. What would have happened if someone had said, I don't think that's who he is? What if I'd said that? What if we'd slowed down before building the gallows? Would he still have his job? His kids? His name? I'll never know. Because I didn't. I visited his apartment. He wasn't there. A neighbor said he'd moved out 2 weeks ago. Left no forwarding address. No goodbye. I drove home, stopped by our old office. Saw the glass door. Remembered his smile through it. Remembered how safe he made people feel. Now he's just gone. Like he was never there. I open my phone, scroll through my followers, see other women posting, men are too afraid to connect nowadays. They ghost, they vanish, they're cold. All I can think is maybe they're just scared. Like Aaron was. Like I helped make him. I used to say, if he's scared, maybe he has something to hide. Now I think maybe he was just tired of proving he wasn't dangerous. Maybe silence was safer. Maybe that's what I'd do too. Talia's final post reads, he never said sorry. That's what hurt the most. And maybe he couldn't. Maybe he did. Maybe we didn't listen. So now I watch as more men get quieter. Start keeping distance. Smile less. Touch nothing. Compliment no one. Say little. Always look over their shoulder. I used to think they were just being weird. But lately, they wait to enter rooms last. CCHR on even friendly emails. Don't laugh at jokes anymore. Don't go to happy hour. Don't sit next to women at meetings. And honestly? I get it now. We taught them to fear being seen, then got mad when they disappeared. Because they don't know which hand on a shoulder, which coffee joke, which second of silence will be the thing that ends them. What do you think? Have you ever stayed silent when you should have spoken up? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories about the messy reality of modern workplaces.